Shalom and welcome to Temple Talk. This is Yitzchak Reuven of the Temple Institute. Today is 5th day of the month of Kislev, 5776, the month of Hanukkah. Today is also 17th day of November, 2015. Once again, I'm alone here in the studio as Rabbi Richman is in the final leg, we can say, of his USA speaking engagement tour. And we'll be back together in a few weeks on Temple Talk. Actually, for the next 3 weeks, there will be no Temple Talk because the rabbi's schedule and mine just will not allow for that opportunity. So, a little patience. You take a break. Well, I'll take a little break. And during Hanukkah, we'll be back on Temple Talk. Let me just catch everybody up right now with the rabbi's speaking engagement schedule. Tonight, 17th of November, Rabbi is speaking in Odessa, Texas. And tomorrow night, 18th of November, in Rio Dozo, New Mexico. On the 19th, the rabbi will be returning back to Texas. He'll be in Lubbock, Texas, at the South Plains Hebraic Center. And he will be in Lubbock, Texas throughout the weekend, throughout Shabbat. And there are all different things planned. If anybody is interested in joining the rabbi at any of these locations, all the information is on our website, templeinstitute.org. Go to any page. We have a banner at the top of the page. Click on it. It will take you to all the information, contact information, dates, times, etc., locations. Or you can go to our Facebook page where we've been also posting the rabbi's schedule. In fact, the rabbi spoke just a few days ago in Houston, and that was filmed and posted on YouTube. And we have a link to that video of the rabbi's talk, a fascinating talk, truly a full-length lecture from Rabbi Richman in Houston, Texas. You can find a link to that on our Facebook page. Worthwhile listening. This week is the week of Parshat Vayeitzei. This is the week where Yaakov leaves everything behind, leaves home, and learns to fend for himself in the world. Actually learns to do so very successfully. This week, unfortunately, is also the week of the aftermath of the horrific attacks in Paris last Friday night. I'm without a doubt, the attacks in Paris were sick, and just of the, I don't need to describe it for you. It's horrible, horrific. It's disgusting. It's sick that there are people that do this, and it's really sick that there are other people and societies and leaders that allow it to persist. I mean, how many European leaders expressed their shock? Shock? Really? You're shocked that this happened? Well, it's not the first time, and it's happened before, and it's going to happen again, and they threaten it day and night, and they say this is exactly what they intend to do, and then when it happens, you're shocked. But what shocked me more than anything else, and I just happened to be listening to it before I began the show today, so I'm still in a state of I don't know what shocked me more than anything else. I just was listening to President Obama's, press conference that he gave in Turkey after the G20 or something, in which, first of all, it seemed like he would have rather talked about anything, whether it be cyber agreements between nations, climate change, creating jobs. Good luck with that one. Anything other than the attack in Paris, anything other than the reality of ISIS in the world, and anything other than the need to fight and destroy ISIS. But he was asked about this, and it seemed to me, from what he was saying, that his strategy, and maybe it's brilliant, his strategy is to bore everyone to death. I don't know. I've never ever heard such a lackluster, somnambulic, I'm taking a phrase out of the rabbi's phrase book now, somnambulitic drone of meaningless, mishmash. He said nothing. He wasn't the least bit interested in the need to rid the world of ISIS and the need to rid the world of Islamic terror, the need to rid the world of an Islam that seeks to conquer and subjugate the world while completely murdering off certain ethnic / religious groups in the world. I mean, if his plan was to bore them to death, well, he could keep talking. I mean, I didn't listen to the whole thing. It was about 40 minutes, I think. I listened to about 20 minutes of absolutely nothing, except basically it was like he was telling us what's been going on in the world for the past 30 days, like we're idiots and we don't understand a thing. And he's just going to review everything that's been going on. And by reviewing everything that's been going on, somehow justifying the fact that the United States, under his, quote, leadership, sick, and I use that word very loosely here, is not merely not doing anything, but has completely loosened the restraints in the world for Islamic hate, Islamic terror, and also for rabid anti-Semitism, often in the guise of anti-Israel. He has just declared open season, and he's been doing this for years, and sits back and seems to be at most bemused by what's going on, although at this point it sounds to me like he's a little bit bored. Maybe he also is counting the days left in his presidency, like I know so many people are. Maybe he did it. He did his legacy move by making a deal with Iran, the other fanatic Islamo-fascist republic in the world. And, he did his thing, so, leave him alone. What do we want from him? I don't know what we want from him, but we're not going to get it. He certainly has abdicated any leadership role for the United States. And, let's see who takes his place in another year, and if they can pick up the pieces. And try to get a grip back on the reins, and start talking and acting and behaving and ruling and leading in terms of right and wrong, good and bad, good and evil, and the need for good to prevail over evil, and not just to learn to live alongside it. He said, this is the world. He said, this is the world. Paris, get used to it. There's going to be a lot more like that. That's the reality. Other than the need he expressed with a little bit of passion to accept refugees from Syria, he seemed to have little interest in stopping the destruction in the world, stopping the chaos, the anarchy, and giving any kind of help or encouragement or solidarity with those who are suffering from these attacks. And of course, Israel suffers every day from terrorist attacks, and we've gotten quite used to the fact that nobody gives a damn, and the world blames us. And in fact, the foreign minister of Sweden, I mean, it didn't take very long. We were all expecting someone would be the first to speak up, said that it's because of the lack of progress in peace talks between Israel and the so-called Palestinians that these terrorists in Paris, these cells that have been waiting for weeks and months and preparing and getting things ready and waiting for the green light to go ahead to do their death and destruction routine. You know what? They just finally said, hell's bells. The Israelis and the Palestinians aren't making any progress. Let's go out tonight. It's a good night. It's a Friday night. Everybody's out, having a good time. Let's go out and kill 129 people. Thank you very much, Sweden. We know where you're coming from, and we're not the least bit surprised. Anyway, as I start to say, we in Israel we're quite used to being on the receiving end of terror and not getting any sympathy whatsoever from the governments of the world, with the exception until recently of Canada, perhaps, under Stephen Harper. Of course, now Canada has a new prime minister who, like so many other Western leaders, doesn't seem to be able to pronounce the word Islam or Islamic terror or radical Islam or Islam, because you show me the difference between moderate Islam and radical Islam, and I'll show you the difference between the people who are strapping bombs around their waists and the people who are housing them. It's pretty dark time, I would say, in the world. And speaking of darkness, it's the month of Kislev. And of course, as the month of Kislev comes in, we are entering into the period of the year of the shortest days, the most darkness. And on the 25th of Kislev, of course, we will be celebrating the 8-day Festival of Lights, Chag Urim, Hanukkah, in which we make a point each day to increase light, not merely and not just symbolically by adding another ner, another candle to our Chanukiot each day of the 8 days, but in reliving and retelling the story of Hanukkah, the story of basically grasping light out of the clutches of darkness and reliberating the Holy Temple during the time of the Greek Hellenist occupation and oppression of Israel, liberating the Holy Temple and purifying it, rekindling the lights. And we have much to talk about that. And again, as I said earlier, although Temple Talk will be silent for a couple of weeks, we will have a Temple Talk during Hanukkah, and we'll have lots to talk about. But suffice it to say, we need that light in the world right now, and we need that spirit. We need that spirit of the dedication and the drive and the determination to fight against the darkness, no matter what, without considering all these side elements, not considering what the polls say, not considering what the next election is going to be, not considering what it might do for this or that. If we don't destroy Islamic Jihad now, we're not going to destroy it. It'll destroy the rest of the world. And just like dark regimes of the not-so-distant past, the way to do it is, for better or for worse, to bomb them into complete submission. To bomb their minds. To bomb them so badly that their minds are willing to let go of the sickness and that has infested their minds. It happened in the 20th century. That's what put an end to the Second World War. It was the complete destruction of Germany, the complete destruction of Japan, and their unconditional surrender. Obama was saying, well, the United States could send in 50,000 troops into Syria, sure, and we could take back this town and that town. But then what? Then what if there's a terror attack in Yemen or in Iraq? Are we going to go there? We're going to send the army there? Well, maybe, you think? Maybe that's what it's all about. I mean, this is World War III. This is World War III. You don't get it? These people are asleep. These people are asleep. I mean, France has upped its aerial strikes on ISIS. Well, kol hakavod, great, congratulations, excellent, keep it up. But you have to completely decimate these people. You have to make the surrounding populations hate them for what they're causing them. Hate them for the destruction that their presence is compelling the West to wreak on them. That's it. Instead of trying to understand the people that are caught up in this and what motivates them, you can figure that out after. Historians can figure that out. But in the meantime, listen, if you're Obama, you'll accept that on any given Friday night, or who knows what day of the week or what time of the day, and 128 people or 200 people or 1,000 or 4,000 people may be wiped off the face of the earth because it's too much of a bother, it's too much of an effort, it's too much of a strain on resources to fight this. Okay, listen. There's a verse in Proverbs you've all heard, Proverbs 29:18, very famous verse, which just keeps coming to my mind lately. In Hebrew, it's Be'en Hazon Ufra'am. And in English, it's usually translated as, without vision, the people perish. Or I think a more literal translation, a more accurate translation would be the people start to act in an uproar. You start to lose control. You need the vision. I don't know where the vision is today. We have a wonderful prime minister in Israel. Intelligent, bright, incisive. He gets what's going on. He knows the difference between right and wrong. I don't see any vision. I don't hear any vision from him. And without vision, we're in peril. He doesn't build. There's no building in the land of Israel because, well, Obama's against it this day and another day. There's another reason why. It's not good timing. He doesn't attack Hamas in Gaza because it's not a good time. I don't know what. There's no vision. There's no moving forward for the sake of Israel. And forget a peace process. Forget extending your hand. We'll meet with this one now at any time, any place. Forget that. What about your people? What about the nation of Israel? Where's the building? Where's the light? One good bit of news today, and I hope that it proves itself true, is that the Security Cabinet today in Israel outlawed the northern branch of the Islamic movement here in Israel, that same branch which is headed by Ra'ad Salah, who is actually in jail right now for incitement. And yes, the northern branch of the Islamic movement in Israel is really the main driving force behind the violence on the Temple Mount. They're the main driving force in organizing and enabling and funding the Morbitat Muslim shrieking devilish women who, despite the fact that they were outlawed more than a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, are still on the Temple Mount, screaming at Jewish worshippers who come up. Yes, these are the people who are the inciters and the ones who are behind this current round of lies, incitement, and violence against Jews and against Israel. And they actually were outlawed. The Islamic movement is a northern branch, because apparently there's a southern branch, which is under different leadership and apparently not so problematic. But the Northern Branch was outlawed. Their offices were raided, and I believe computers and papers were confiscated. Their bank accounts were frozen. There'll be a backlash. We'll see if our Prime Minister can withstand whatever a backlash might present and stick to his guns, because as he knows, and as he's so good at expressing to others, this is what's necessary. Somebody's going to cry, you can't do that, we're a democratic country. Okay, too bad. Democratic countries can do these things when they are necessary for the security and the freedom of the people. So, vision. Vision is always in one direction, and that's forward. And in this week's Parsha, Vayeitzei, we get the very opening of our Parsha, where we're witness to a wonderful vision, a dream. But dreams in the Torah are visions, in that they are not, you don't have a dream and you wake up and say, what does that tell me about, my relationship with my children, with my parents, with my spouse? Maybe it's something I ate, or, I watched something on TV last night. I think that's what influenced it. No. A dream in Torah is a communication from God, either directly or via an angel, but through the medium of a dream. And those who dream in the Torah are those who God deems worthy of or in need of this message, and then they are expected to express the meaning and the purpose and the program outlined in that dream/vision. And that is a mark of a visionary, of a leader. So, if we recall, well, here's the music. So we're going to take a break right now. I'll be back very soon, and we'll continue with this story about Yaakov, the young visionary who has a dream. Be right back. Temple Talk. Shalom and welcome back to Temple Talk. This is Yitzchak Rubin of the Temple Institute. By myself in the studio, Rabbi Chaim Richman is in the United States, speaking tonight in Odessa, Texas. And he'll be speaking throughout Texas and in New Mexico over the next few days, throughout this weekend, throughout Shabbat. And if you'd like to know more about that, you can visit our website, templeinstitute.org, or the Temple Institute's Facebook page. Today is the 5th day of the month of Kislev, 5776, the 17th day of November 2015. Last Thursday, Friday, were Rosh Chodesh, Friday being the first day of the new month of Kislev. Here in Israel, we were unable to see the new moon when it first came out due to cloudy skies, but indeed there has been a new moon, and it's a new month, the month of Kislev, known as the month of dreams, perhaps because it's a dark month in terms of the nighttime hours versus the daytime hours. People sleep more, maybe, hibernate and dream a lot, but actually the different various dreams that help to formulate and shape our history in the book of Genesis, they all seem to take place in this month of Kislev in terms of our Torah readings. And this week we're reading Parshat Vayeitzei, Yaakov departed from Beersheba and went toward Haran, Vayeitzei. We were beginning to talk about this at the conclusion of the first half of the show, and I wanted to say that last week, in Toldot, we saw how Yaakov disguised himself as his brother Esav and was able to deceive his father Yitzchak, who was old and his eyesight was failing. And by posing as Esav, he was able to get the blessing that Yitzchak had promised to Esav. And of course, he did this with the instigation and the encouragement and the planning and the help of his mother Rivka, who knew that it was Yaakov who deserved the blessing and not Esav. And this week, and so afterwards, Esav was very, very angry at this, and he said, when my father Yitzchak dies, I will then kill my brother Yaakov. And he is commended, Esav, by our sages for having filial respect. He did not want to harm his brother Yaakov while his father was alive, as that would certainly greatly hurt his father. I guess he didn't feel the same way concerning his mother, because he did not take that into consideration. But he decided he would wait. His father was going to die soon, and once he died, he would pounce and kill his brother Yaakov. Rivka hears this, and she, again, goes to Yitzchak, and instead of saying, we have to save our son's life, she says, I don't want him to marry into the localites here. Let's send him to my family in Haran, so we can find someone there. Yitzchak agrees, gives Yaakov another set of blessings, and he's off. So this week's Parsha Vayeitzei begins with Yaakov's journey from Beersheba, exits the land of Israel, and goes to Haran, where on the outskirts of Haran, he first meets Rachel, his cousin, and the woman who he falls in love with, and will be one of his two wives, Rachel and her sister Leah. And of course, between the two of them and their two handmaidens, Yaakov will raise a family of 12 sons and one recorded daughter, although our sages ensure us that there were many other daughters born as well. But, as I started to say before, vision, looking forward, marching forward, is one of the elements of leadership. And if Yaakov was sort of a homeboy, at the beginning of last Parsha, he's described as Yoshev Oholim, dwelling in tents. He studied. He was a good boy, as opposed to Esav, who was a man of the field, a man about town, a man who went out and did all sorts of stuff, including killing, murdering, stealing, etc. But it's interesting, if we go back again to last week's Parsha, when Yaakov is performing this impersonation of Esav, and his father Yitzchak is saying, well, who are you? Yes, you feel like Esav, but you sound like Yaakov. Come a little closer. And in my mind, I have a suspicion, a sneaking suspicion always, that Yitzchak knew exactly what was going on, and that perhaps he and Rivka even planned this together from the very start, that this was a test for Yaakov. Can he do it? Does he have what it takes to deceive his father, as it were, to take a chance, to take a risk, and then to go out in the world and make his way in the world as he needs to do, because if he is going to be the next in line in this dynasty of these men and women and family and eventually nation of God, he's going to have to learn to fend for himself in the world. And certainly he's got what it takes in terms of love of Hashem and dedication toward Hashem's word and the covenant that his father made with Hashem, and that his grandfather Abraham made with Hashem, and that his father Yitzchak confirmed with Hashem. He has that. The question is, can he make it in the world? And the first thing he does after fleeing for his life from his home on his way to Haran, he stops in Beit El to rest. The sun has set and he needs to rest before he can carry on. And of course, that's where he lays his head down on a rock, has a dream, and in the dream he sees a ladder going up to heaven, and on the ladder are angels going up and going down, and at the top of the ladder he envisions God, God says to Yaakov, I am Hashem, God of Avraham your father and God of Yitzchak, the ground upon which you are lying, to you I will give it, and to your descendants. Your offspring shall be as the dust of the earth, and you shall spread out powerfully westward, eastward, northward, and southward, and all the families of the earth shall bless themselves by you and by your offspring. Behold, I am with you. I will guard you wherever you go, and I will return you to this soil, for I will not forsake you until I will have done with what I've spoken about you. Yaakov awakens, and he says, surely Hashem is present in this place, and I did not know. And he became frightened and said, how awesome is this place? This is none other than the abode of God, and this is the gate of the heavens. Yaakov arose early in the morning and took the stone that he placed around his head and set it up as a pillar, and he poured oil on its top. Then he named that place Beit El. However, Luz was the city's original name. Yaakov has this dream, and as I started to say earlier, he's not dreaming about what he ate last night, and he's not dreaming about missing home, and he's not dreaming about what was on TV last night. He's not dreaming about his troubled relationship with his brother, or even the deception that he feels he played upon his father, which certainly could warrant introspection. No, he's not dreaming about those things, because that's not the nature of his dream. His dream is a vision directly from Hashem of the future and of what awaits his descendants and his role in pursuing this and making it happen. He has one day out of the house, and he already sees his place in, not just in the world, but of place, but in the world of time. He sees his place in the entire trajectory of history. He sees his place in the Geula and the redemption. He sees where it's going and what he needs to do to make it happen. He has, within 24 hours, gone from a reluctant player in his mother's scheme to receive his father's blessing, to the leader of the next generation, and the third of the three avot, the third of the three patriarchs, whose perception of Hashem, their relationship with Hashem, and certainly their perception of the mifgash, the meeting place with Hashem in this earth, which is focused and concentrated in the place of the Holy Temple. He assumes that role. He assumes that role to the point that the verse says, grant truth to Yaakov and chesed to Avraham, loving kindness to Avraham. Yaakov, he is the truth. He has managed to walk away, flee from his household, and within one night, and the benefit of one night's incredible dream, incredible vision, he now can set the foundation of the truth and of the further unveiling of the future, of the history, and of God's presence in the world. That is a person with vision, with chazon, to quote the word used in the verse from Proverbs that I quoted earlier. When there is no vision, the people perish. But when there is vision, the people unite. The people are strong. The people can stand up to any challenge, and the people can not only defend themselves, but pursue and destroy their enemies. And is there any vision in the world today? Is there any vision in the world? Again, I'm not seeing any vision coming out of the White House. I'm seeing a president who has put blinders on his eyes. He doesn't want to see. He can't see. Refuses to see. I don't know what. Hollande, the president of France, is quite justifiably enraged and quite justifiably on the warpath. Will he have the vision to turn that into a leadership role, to take over where the United States has walked away from, and fight the fight? Let's need to not just downgrade and degrade and I don't know what, shrink the territory and change the narrative. All these gobbledygook that the president was talking about in this press conference out of Turkey, but to actually fight the fight that's necessary, not only to destroy the evil in the world, but to recreate good in the world. Israel's prime minister, as I said earlier, he's a brilliant man. I'm not seeing the vision. I'm not hearing the vision. I'm not getting that leadership from him. If he, is waiting for Obama to step down before he's gonna do something, that's not leadership. I'm sorry. That's not vision. In any case, we see here with Yaakov, thank God he had vision. He didn't wait but a day. And when God spoke to him, he didn't hesitate. He woke up. He even expressed his shock and his regret over the fact that he didn't realize when he first laid his head down that this was such an intense, holy, purposeful place. But now he knows it. And without regret and without apology, he knows exactly what needs to be done at the moment and for the rest of his life, and in the message and the Torah that he will imbibe in his own children. So yes, the rest of this week's Parashat Vayeitzei chronicles Yaakov's stay with his father-in-law Lavan, a troubled stay, a troubled relationship, his relationship with his two wives, sisters, who are rivals for his affections, and the 12 children that they and their handmaidens bear, who will make the nation of Israel. Actually, in this week's Parasha, 11 of the 12 are born. The final son, the 12th son, Benjamin, will be born back in the land of Israel. But this week's Parasha concludes with Yaakov's imminent return into the land after his 20-year stay and adventure outside of the land of Israel. But it's the beginning of the history of the nation of Israel, and it's the beginning of the season of dreams that this month of Kislev is known for. Of course, this will be followed by dreams that Yosef has and that Pharaoh has. And of course, there's another dream in this week's Parasha, which I didn't mention, and that is the dream that visits Lavan when he pursues Yaakov, as Yaakov leaves to head back to Canaan, to the land of Israel. Yaakov pursues him, and as he approaches, his encampment approaches Yaakov's encampment near Har Gilad, the Mount of Gilad, outside the land of Israel. God comes to Lavan in a dream and says, "Here's the thing, Lavan. Don't mess with Yaakov. Don't mess with him. Don't say a bad word about him. Don't touch him. you'll regret it if you do. And Lavan takes that very seriously. And leaves off from causing any harm to Yaakov. Started talking earlier about the Temple Mount. We mentioned the government's announcement today that the northern branch of the Islamic movement in Israel is illegal. Their offices have been raided, many of their computers and papers confiscated, their bank accounts frozen. Let's hope this will be a serious and sustained clampdown against these terrorists. And also in the news is the continued squabble about the cameras that Netanyahu, along with John Kerry of the United States and King Hussein of Jordan, agreed would be installed on the Temple Mount. And as we've been reading, it is Jordan apparently who is going to install the cameras. They have assured their Muslim compatriots that these cameras will not be installed inside the mosque or inside the Dome of the Rock, but obviously outside, and most likely to be installed in all the areas and pointing in all the directions where Jewish worshippers go when they go up to the Temple Mount. Ori Ariel, who is the Minister of Agriculture in the government. Ori Ariel we know because he is a fellow Temple Mount ascender. He's a Kohen. And not long ago, I think during Sukkot, he was on the Temple Mount and conducted an ad hoc Birkat Kohanim, priestly blessing on the Temple Mount. He has made an official appeal to Netanyahu to ensure that either the cameras will also be installed inside the mosque and the dome, or not at all, because of course the mosque is the war room for these frequent stone throwing and bottle rocket throwing, Molotov cocktail throwing, firecracker throwing, riots which periodically and predictably break out in the Temple Mount. The Al-Aqsa Mosque is the place where they store their munitions, and where they gather and sleep overnight in order to be up first thing in the morning in order to have their pre-planned riot. So without cameras inside the mosque, not to mention all the incitement that takes place in the mosque, various Muslim preachers who preach lies and all sorts of sick things about Israel and about the Jews. If there's no cameras inside the mosque, then just exactly what do we have cameras for on the Temple Mount? So that's what's going on in the upper echelons of government in and about Israel concerning the Temple Mount. As far as boots on the ground, or I should say barefoot feet or non-leather clad feet on the Temple Mount, yes, more and more Jews are going up all the time. And the only thing that is keeping the numbers from even more dramatically rising is the fact that the hours are very limited that Jews are allowed in the Temple Mount, and the police make a point of not letting one group up until the next group comes down, so only a limited amount of groups can go up on any given morning, and the police see to it that those groups usually have no more than 15 people in them. So despite that, the numbers are growing, and if you don't believe us, if you don't believe me, you can check it out in the Muslim Arab media, because this is what worries them so that the numbers keep growing. And just as they say in the early chapters of the book of Exodus, when Pharaoh tried to afflict Israel and tried to decimate the population through all sorts of attempts at genocide and population control And the Torah tells us that just as Israel was oppressed, so did Israel grow and multiply. And that's what's happening in the Temple Mount. Bring it on. The more you want to try to oppress us and afflict us on the Temple Mount, the more people are interested and determined to go up. And rather than all this news and a lot of discord and disinformation about the Temple Mount, despite it all, more and more Jews are listening careful to what's really going up, and they want to be part of it, and they're going up as well. And that is to be very much blessed. Whoa, amazing. When you start talking, you can really talk a long time. I could be President of the United States. But I think, and I hope I had something to say. I hope there was a message there. Again, Temple Talk will be back in 3 weeks. Thank you so much for being with me. Temple Talk.